This video, brought to you by Funding101.org, includes the secret toolkit for attracting corporate sponsorships. This is part 2 of the video series. In part 1, we focused on what your organization could do for your corporate sponsors, and we talked about how you can prepare to work with corporate sponsors effectively. In this video, we're going to focus on how to ensure that your corporate sponsors benefit the most from that partnership. Let's begin by explaining that in the eyes of the IRS, there are taxable and non-taxable donations. Corporations want to be able to use their donation to your nonprofit as a tax-deductible item. It's up to your organization to make sure that your sponsorship levels are structured in a way that they adhere to the non-taxable donation rules. The first step is to understand what the IRS refers to as safe harbor. The IRS exempts payments that fit within the quote-unquote qualified sponsorship payments from unrelated business income tax, or UBIT. What that means is that you need to structure your sponsorship levels in a way that clearly states that payments are accepted with no expectation that the sponsor will receive a quote-unquote substantial return benefit in exchange for the payment. Here are some general examples of what the IRS considers non-taxable safe harbor. Use of your sponsor's logo or slogan. You can include this on your website, in your press releases, in your social media campaigns without any worry about that becoming taxable income from the donation made by the sponsor. Providing a list of your sponsor's locations and contact information is another safe harbor item. You can do that without worry about it becoming taxable either. You can also provide value-neutral descriptions of your sponsor's business without worrying about it becoming taxable income. If you're not sure what value-neutral descriptions would look like, if you turn on your local PBS TV station and watch when they mention a business sponsor, the way they mention them is considered value-neutral. There are some examples of taxable advertising, or what the IRS would refer to as UBIT, or unrelated business income tax. What this means is that if you do any of the following things, not only are you expected to pay tax on it as unrelated business income, but your corporate sponsor does not get to use it as a tax write-off either. So it's important to learn the boundaries and stay within those. Again, PBS has been doing this masterfully for years, so studying them would be a good thing. In the eyes of the IRS, taxable advertising is defined as any message or material, whether broadcast, transmitted, published, displayed, or distributed, that promotes or markets the sponsor's trade or business or any of its services, facilities, or products. Here are some things to avoid doing if your organization doesn't want to pay tax on the donation and you don't want to make your corporate sponsors lose their charity write-off. Avoid including what are called qualitative or comparative languages. When you acknowledge your sponsor, for example, you would not want to say, Bob's Auto Shop is the best auto shop in the country, as that would be qualitative. You would also not want to say that Bob's Auto Shop is better than John's Auto Shop, because that would be comparative. Avoid including pricing information or indications of savings. For example, you would not want to say that Bob's Auto Shop is offering an oil change for $39.95 this week, as that would include pricing information. You would also not want to say that Bob's oil change service is cheaper than John's auto shop service, and if you go to Bob's, you'll save $10. That would be an indication of savings. Finally, you want to avoid directly encouraging your audience to purchase sponsor products. So, if you want your audience to go to Bob's Auto Shop, you could say, we want to thank Bob's Auto Shop for helping our nonprofit, and we encourage all of our audience members to thank them for their support. What you don't want to say is that we want to thank Bob's Auto Shop for supporting us financially, and it's the only place you should go to get your oil changed, because they're better than all the other shops and they're cheaper than all the other shops, and if you want to continue to be invited to our events, you need to go there to get your oil changed. The examples we've given are extreme, of course, so that you can see the differences. As always, when you have any questions, be sure to ask your accountant or your tax preparer to clarify so that when you set up your levels of support, you'll be certain that you're following the rules. And I can tell you that once you get the hang of doing this, it'll all become second nature, so don't worry about it. Funding 101 is dedicated to helping nonprofits thrive no matter what the economy's doing. Our program, Making Profits for Your Nonprofit, includes more than 100 tips and a baker's dozen of success principles that you can start using today to attract more donors, more volunteers, more business sponsors, more grant money, more media coverage, and a whole lot more. Best of all, 90% of all the tips and techniques we're sharing in the program won't cost you a dime to use. The bad news, though, is every one of those tips and techniques is already costing you a boatload of lost revenue until your organization starts using them. You deserve to be successful and to expand the good works that your organization does every day. Now, it's time to invest in your organization and learn some new techniques that will help you stop struggling and start thriving. Click on the Add to Cart button to get your program today. To read more about the tax implications when working with corporate sponsors, follow the link provided on your screen. Your success matters to us at funding101.org. Keep up the good work and watch for our next video.